Yo, what's up, DGens? What's going on this evening? All right, let's look right into it. How's everybody doing? As always, guys, I will get to the chat after we get through the news. You know what it is. All right. So Jasmine, riding the silver pine. Look at that, eh? Riding the 100-day SMA. Tested it as support for 2 days now. 2 red candles. We've stayed above it, which is fantastic. We want to keep closing candles above the 100-day SMA while we pull that 30-day SMA up by the bootstraps. We want to use that as these as support. We want to get this golden cross here. We're probably, what we're looking at here, right? This is going to continue to come up. This is going to continue to go like this. We probably get across somewhere around here, right? Somewhere around there, we'll probably get a golden cross if we can continue in an upward trajectory. And then it is Moonshot City as usual. Now, a lot of people are complaining and worried and anxious, and because low cap, small cap gems aren't pumping. Of course, they're not pumping. It's Bitcoin's time to shine. Some people don't understand that, I suppose. I've been saying it from the rooftops, but still people don't understand it, right? Bitcoin needs to do its thing first, okay? Speaking of Bitcoin, let's go check out how Bitcoin closed today itself. All right, so yes, closed above old support, old all-time high there that we put in the day before yesterday. We're continuing to close candles above there, which is fantastic. Guys, I know we're going to have another one of these candles in the next couple of days, in my opinion. It's coming. We just had our rate cut yesterday. We had the Trump election. Things are looking good. Things are looking fantastic. And again, I've said, though, guys, I have said, to be fair, we could, in the next couple of days, come down and make a higher low, okay? So that's what we have to do here at this point in time. We have to, if you can see here, what have we been doing this whole time, right? Low, right? All the way down here. All the way down here, okay? What have we been doing? Here's our low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. We have to put in another higher low somewhere around here to continue to the upside. That's what you want to see, guys. You want to see us continue to put in higher lows, right? Going straight up to the moon causes you to come right back down again, right? If you don't build these support levels, if you do not build these levels, then what ends up happening is when you come back down, when you crash, when you have corrections and pullbacks, there is no support to catch you because you haven't built any support levels up, right? So instead of just coming down to, say, the last low or something like that, right, or even right here, we would just go, because there's no support, right? So we got to build those support levels. Stair stepping up is the most successful way to do it. That is how babies are made, okay? So just be patient. Just be patient, right? We have this nice run. Now, I am anticipating another big candle here, but I also did say that this may very well end up forming a bull flag. I also said that, I think this morning, I want to say this morning I said that. So let's go have a look over at the crypto bubbles. What's the market looking like this evening? Miri has recovered a little bit from earlier. Jasmy down 3.3%, still holding above, continues to close above 2 cents, which is great. Mobile, guys, somebody, Dumb Money, I'm pretty sure it was Dumb Money. Dumb Money asked me yesterday, I want to say, yesterday on our Zoom call, our group Zoom call about Helium Mobile, and I told him, yes, fantastic hold, right? So guys, if you want to get in on that kind of stuff, get over to the Patreon. The link is in the chat. It's in the description. And join the group Zoom calls where we talk about these things. We just talked about Helium Mobile the other day. Look at this pump that we have going on it right now. 36% on the day, guys. You're missing out on opportunities. Bitcoin, again, closing over 76,000 is fantastic. Crow was up almost 20% earlier. It's still up 14%. So you have some good opportunities still, guys. Stuff like Turbo. Turbo is a great DCA opportunity. Proppy, Pith, Forda. You got some good opportunities out there, guys. So absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, just so you know, I see your comments in the chat. I will get to the chat after we get through the news. I do the chat in the second half of the live stream. If you want to get my attention sooner, you got to send over your question or your altcoin that you want me to look at in the super chat, okay? All right, so let's get into some of the news. Starting things off with some Jasmy news, as we see from NeoSun. No blockchain founder anywhere in the world, okay, has been consulted by a government like these two men, Ando and Sato, right? These two men who have helped make Sony a household name around the world. And the Japanese government continues to consult with these two gentlemen, okay? Very influential in the tech industry, not just in Japan, but globally. As you see him on stage right now with Steve Jobs, right? That's Ando. Very, very bullish stuff. What else do we? Oh, yeah, guys, check this out. You got to see this. I mean, we got to start the stream with a little bit of humor, right? Look at this. This is awesome.
Oh, would you look at that?
Yeah, well.
Would you look at that?
Yeah, there's a few more blemishes on the car.
Oh my gosh, just look at it.
The car is not perfect.
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Yeah, well.
What the heck is that? Oh.
Oh, that's gold. That is gold. What else do we got? What's going on out there? Okay. Okay, got to start it off with a little bit of humor, guys. Come on now, right? Day 3 of The View having a meltdown, guys. We have to watch The View absolutely melt down, okay? Let's check this out.
I disagree.
All right.
I think that I'd like to reframe the conversation. I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is, what is wrong with America? I think
So there's something wrong with America, not with them. It can't be their opinions. They can't be wrong. America has to be wrong, right? That's their mentality.
wrong with our country that the Republican Party would choose as a candidate and support a candidate who is an insurrectionist, who is an election denier, who is someone who is twice impeached, 34-time convicted felon, someone who has been accused of alleged sexual misconduct by 26 women, found liable for sexual abuse. What is wrong with this country that they would choose a message of divisiveness, of xenophobia, of racism, of misogyny, over a message of inclusiveness, a message for the people?
He's such a misogynist that he appointed a woman to the chief of staff for the White House today. That's how misogynistic he is.
The people of the people. That's what the problem is. It's the Republican Party.
But can I say something before we can do a second? The Democrats are the ones. They are the party that cares for the blue collar
Exactly.
voter. The Democrats are the ones who put in Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, union protection,
ACA,
unemployment insurance, and Obamacare. The Republican Party doesn't give a rat's patootie about
clearly
it.
they didn't convince the voters.
So all I can deduce is that it's the messaging. It didn't get through to people. They're not paying attention. That's all.
Yeah,
because the Democrats have always been for the working people.
Exactly. And the Republicans don't care about
I think
it.
the message of the Democrats sounded elitist. You don't have value in the society.
They
you don't
sounded
have a
that way,
degree.
but when you look at the proof,
yeah,
they weren't.
but Joy, it's condescending. It's condescending. There is a
condescending.
The way that the left speaks to its voters, it really is
a message of joy and inclusiveness.
No, the message of not being educated, being dumb, and what's wrong with America.
Who said that?
Sonny just did.
What is wrong with
Joy,
America?
my point here is that
that's not what Kamala Harris said.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
My point is, I don't blame Joe Biden. I don't blame Kamala Harris. Go back as far as you want. I blame a messaging within the Democratic Party.
You don't blame the Republican Party?
Can I just finish my point, please? I obviously have a problem. Anyone has a problem with Donald Trump. The bigger question should be, Yes, Sonny. Why did they vote for him?
Yes.
In
So
sweeping.
they need to be introspective.
No. We need to be introspective. If we voted for Kamala Harris, we need to say what didn't resonate with the voters. Do you know what didn't resonate with the voters? When they were saying we don't feel safe, and the left focused on defund the police and bail reform.
Yeah.
When they said we're worrying about. Can I just finish? Let me just finish real quickly. When they were focused on renaming.
It's only an hour show, ladies.
Joy. When they were focused on renaming schools, there were people saying, hey, students are destroying colleges. I paid for that. I sent them there. They can't learn. And everyone apologized for it and didn't want to attend to it. They also denied the border was a crisis and kept saying, no, it's fine. This is not a...
There was a border bill, though. There was a border bill.
Yes, but Joy, my point is they screened and screened and screened. They didn't vote for him because he's a racist or a misogynist. They voted because they needed help in their everyday lives.
But Sarah,
the majority of this country, because there's every stat coming out on the people willing to self-reflect are showing these.
Oh, wait, they're going to say I'm a racist and a misogynist in the exit poll?
You really think 74 million?
So 74 million people in the United States are racist misogynists. 74 million, more than half of the United States of America. Or you're wrong. Maybe that, right? Maybe that, I don't know.
People are racist. Every racist and misogynist voted for Donald Trump. Not everyone that voted for Donald Trump was a racist and misogynist.
I agree with that.
Everyone swept. They swept every category. And the reason they did is to say, hey, guys, no excuses this time.
Yeah. Look,
they lost everything.
There's still half the country
allows its environment to be ravaged, its children to be shot, its wealth to be hoarded, its workers to be exploited, its poor to starve, its cops to murder.
So you think America's the
country in trouble?
So America's the problem and the
Trump
voters
is not
are
going to
the
make it
problem.
better.
Anna, hold it for the next segment, right? We'll be right back. Hold it. Yeah.
So Americans are the problem. It's not the Democratic Party. It's Americans that are the problem. Oh God. You can't write this stuff, guys. Some people will never be able to look inward and go, maybe I'm wrong. No. I can't be wrong. America's wrong. Andrew Tate, check it out, tweets out, BTC all-time high doesn't make headlines anymore. There's no emotional reaction and nobody cares. This is a good thing. This is the only up territory. There is no shock or awe. Expectation is belief. We know it will break all-time high. We don't care. Higher, Valhalla. Let's frickin' go. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. We're seeing Andrew Tate tweet about Bitcoin again. Fantastic. CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, on the BBC News. Check it out.
And one of the biggest winners from Donald Trump's re-election to the White House has been the crypto world. Bitcoin, for example, hit record highs this week by passing that $76,000 mark for the first time. Another token seeing big gains over the past few days is XRP, which has been developed by the digital payment network Ripple. It's currently valued at around $11 billion and is trying to go mainstream by launching its own ETF. However, it's currently involved in a long-standing case with the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is blocking the launch. For more on all this, we're now joined by the CEO of Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse. So welcome, Brad. Let's start with that tweet that you have sent on a crypto checklist to Donald Trump for his first 100 days, including firing SEC Chair Gary Gensler. What are the main things that you want him to address?
Well, as you probably know, Donald Trump has been kind of a crypto advocate and the crypto president by his self-proclamation around that for a number of months during the campaign. And he has actually said that one of the first things he would do in office is to do everything he can do to remove Gary Gensler, who has really waged a war against crypto in the United States. The irony, of course, is many countries around the world, even the UK, Switzerland, Singapore, have really leaned into crypto, created clear rules, which has allowed entrepreneurs and capital to flow in and allow the industry to grow and thrive.
But while Trump is seen as favorable for crypto leaders and investors, does his recent alignment with crypto actually pose some ethical concerns? I mean, he's launched the cryptocurrency project World Liberty Financial. Is this a potential conflict of interest now that he has a stake in the industry, Brad?
You know, I think obviously Donald Trump has stakes in lots of industries, and I think the voters decided that they preferred Donald Trump as opposed to other candidates throughout the process. So I don't really take a position on that. I think there's obviously a lot of disclosure laws, and I think as his second trip to the White House. I'm sure there's plenty of people around him that are experienced with that. I do think, regardless of his own participation in different parts of the economy, we've got to get the United States growing in as it relates to this industry. And the Biden administration, really not just the United States SEC, but other parts of the government as well, been pretty hostile towards crypto, despite its growth, despite that it's over a $2 trillion market today.
And with a Donald Trump win, are you expecting a resolution in this Ripple versus SEC lawsuit? I mean, this was surrounding whether XRP is considered a security or a digital currency. And what do you think a resolution would mean for the broader crypto industry?
Look, as you probably know, we've been fighting with the SEC for 3.5 years. We won that case last summer. The SEC, the judge in that case declared very explicitly, XRP in and of itself is not a security. The SEC is appealing part of that decision, but importantly, they're not appealing the part of the decision that says XRP is not a security. So we feel very good about that. The law of the land of the United States is that XRP is not a security. What's frustrating, I think, for the whole industry is that only Bitcoin and XRP really have the explicit regulatory clarity in the United States. Other leading cryptocurrencies like ETH and Solana have been a little bit in a fuzzy land. And it's really kind of maddening, and I think madness, to think we're going to litigate every single token one by one. We've been challenging the government, challenging the SEC to create clear rules of the road, as you've seen in the UK, as you've seen in Japan, where they've created taxonomies so that the regulation is clear. And people in the US crypto industry want to follow the rules. We just have to have clarity about what the rules are.
And Brad, talk to us more about clarity that you need in regulation. What more in particular would you like to see?
I think the key thing is that the SEC under Gary Gensler has tried to take the position that most cryptocurrencies are securities. Securities, as I think many people know, the law, it's about rights and title and ownership of a company. If you own a security in Apple, you own part of the company. You have governance rights. You can vote on the board of directors. That obviously doesn't exist. If you own XRP, if you own ETH, if you own different cryptocurrencies, you're not getting the rights and title and interest of a security. So the key really is creating that clarity that the SEC is not the regulator that's trying to kind of own this industry. And they've really been trying to do regulation through enforcement rather than codifying and taking the time to write clear rules of the road.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us there, Brad Garlinghouse, the Ripple CEO.
Bright things, bright roads, light at the end of the tunnel. It's all good in the hood, guys. Things are looking good. Things are looking positive. You love to see it. What else do we got? We got a lot to get through tonight, guys. It's going to be a nice long stream. VanEck CEO says Bitcoin's value will be half of all of the gold outstanding. So something like $300,000 per Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's great to have you. And when you're probably asked as much as I am, if Bitcoin's going to 100,000 next, what would you say?
Kelly, happy Friday. I think Bitcoin's going to hit all-time highs. It hit them today, and I think it's going further, right? My basic premise is that ultimately Bitcoin's value will be half of that of all the gold outstanding. So you're talking about something like $300,000 for Bitcoin.
Why only half the value? Why not a quarter of the value or pick some other random number?
Well, because maybe I'm more balanced. I think if I were a Bitcoin maximalist, I would say it would overtake gold. But I think that's like a reasonable base assumption. It's clear, one of the big winners this year is individual investors have really piled into the Bitcoin ETFs. And I think as individuals, as a constituency, they were important in this election. The loss by Sherrod Brown of his Ohio Senate seat, the fact that Trump went to the Bitcoin convention shows that there's a big constituency in the U.S. and hopefully it becomes a bipartisan issue as well, not so one-sided.
There are other.
That to me was one of Kamala Harris's biggest mistakes in the Democrats. They were invited to the Bitcoin conference. She was invited to go and speak alongside Trump, right? She chose not to do it. She chose to ignore it. She chose not to go. She could have even spoke via satellite. She could have talked, you know, she could have Zoom called in or something like that to talk to. She chose to completely ignore the Bitcoin conference. To me, that was a big mistake. It was a signal to the crypto voter that she had no interest, no matter the fact that she wanted to hint and imply that she was going to support crypto. She never came out and took an actual concrete stance on supporting crypto. That was a big mistake, in my opinion, a big, big mistake. And they paid for it, right? All right, what else do we got? Watcher Guru, this just in. Donald Trump says he will push to implement a constitutional amendment adding term limits to Congress members. Yes, yes, this all day long, this. Term limits for Congress members. Yes, Maxine Waters, Elizabeth Warren, all of these, Sherman, with the Shermanator. These people have been there for decades, making millions and millions and millions of dollars off the American people and doing nothing to improve their constituents. Yes. So, yes, term limits on Congress members. Absolutely, I support that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys support? You guys are in America. I'm in Canada. Do you guys think there should be term limits on Congress members? We don't have a term limit for our prime minister here in Canada, right? They can, I know in the States you can only do 2 terms as president. Here in Canada, you can just stay prime minister forever as long as people vote for you, right? As long as you can pull the wool over people's eyes, you can stay. I hate that. There should be 2 term limits here in Canada as well.
Who partner with private and student loan support for a period of 5 years and maybe more.
This right here, you know who he's talking about when he says this. SEC, Gary Gensler. Listen up, guys. This was Trump today.
We should also enact new laws laying out clear criminal penalties for federal bureaucrats who partner with private entities to do an end run around the Constitution.
Jay Clayton, right there. Bill Hinman, right there. Gary Gensler, right there, right? That's what he's talking about. These bureaucrats working at these branches of government like the SEC, and they're doing the bidding of these companies like ETH, and then going to take jobs with these companies afterwards. That's right. I love that he's going to institute prosecution rights against these bureaucrats for what they're doing, right? Lock these guys up in jail for what they're doing.
And deprive Americans of their First, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights. In other words, deprive them of their vote. And once you lose those elections, and once you lose your borders like we have, you no longer have a country. Furthermore, to confront the problems of major platforms being infiltrated by legions of former deep staters and intelligence officials, there should be a 7-year cooling off period before any employee of the FBI, CIA, NSA, DNI, DHS, or DOD is allowed to take a job at a company possessing vast quantities of U.S. user data. Fifth, the time has finally come for Congress to pass a digital Bill of Rights. This should include a right to digital due process. In other words, government officials should need a court order to take down online content, not send information requests such as the FBI was sending to Twitter. Furthermore, when users of big online platforms have their content or accounts removed, throttled, shadow banned, or otherwise restricted, no matter what name they use, they should have the right to be informed that it's happening, the right to a specific explanation of the reason why, and the right to a timely appeal.
I'm not even going to mention the platforms that this is going to affect, but yes, no more censorship, no more dictatorship of the left, determining what we're allowed to say, what we're allowed to hear. Eleanor Tourette says, I asked a person close to Trump's transition team, about some of the names being floated for the new SEC chair and whether views on crypto would factor into the decision. The response I got was, I promise you, it will be someone pro-crypto. Oh, yes. We were talking about that in this morning's live stream, and people were worried that how do we know that whoever's going to be put in Gary Gensler's place is going to be pro-crypto? There you have it, guys. There you have it, straight from straight from Trump's transition team. The person who takes the chair of the SEC will be pro-crypto. So there you have it. All right, what else do we got? Larry Fink, I was wrong about Bitcoin.
Now, I know you have been a leader in willing to embrace crypto. You have made it so that people can be in Bitcoin. We hear that you are thinking about Ethereum. These are incredible things. Now, BlackRock is not known as a gunslinger by any means. So you obviously must believe that this maybe is an alternative. Is this an alternative in order to be able, because of a deficit, maybe something long-term people should have?
Absolutely. As you know, I was a skeptic.
Yes.
I was a proud skeptic. And I studied it, learned about it, and I came away saying, okay, my opinion 5 years ago was wrong. Here's my opinion today. This is what I believe in today. I believe the opportunity today. I believe Bitcoin is legitimate. I'm not trying to say there's not misuses like everything else, but it is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have maybe uncorrelated, non-correlated type of returns. I believe it is an instrument that you invest in when you're more frightened, though. It is an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency, debasing their currency by excess deficits, and some countries are. I believe we have countries where you're frightened of your everyday existence, and if you have an opportunity to invest in something that is outside your country's control, then you can have more financial control. And so I'm a major believer that there is a role for Bitcoin in portfolios. I believe you're going to see that as one of the asset classes that we all look at. I look at it as digital gold, as I said before, and I do believe there's a real need for everyone to look at it as one alternative to, I would say, the optimism that I have in the world. If you want to hedge hope, Bitcoin is not an instrument for hope unless you're hopeful you're going to make a lot of money on it. But I look at it as a vehicle in which you're expressing your financial acumen in something that you're more frightened of the world, you're more frightened of your existence. And I believe there's a great industrial use for it. And I think a lot of people are missing that.
I couldn't agree more. I changed my mind about it when you did. You had been my thinking. It was like, I don't believe in it, so I can't believe it. I want to thank Larry Fink for the message of optimism.
Thanks.
And also for a great quarter. Larry Fink is the co-founder, chairman, and CEO of BlackRock. I think the most important investment company in the world.
Thanks, guys. Carl.
Jim Cramer. I changed my mind on it too. I love Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin now. Man. Dr. Hazan, I think I'm thinking of joining and becoming a member. Hey, man, hop on board. You're going to love it over on the Patreon, brother. I'm telling you right now, we do we do group Zoom calls there every single day, man. There's a lot to learn. As a community, it's fantastic. We'd love to have you over there, man. The link's in the chat. What else do we got? Oh, I got to play this just because it's awesome. Look at this. Look at this.
Well, I hate to say it, but the left was right. Trump just made his first appointment to his staff, and it was a female, and the job title that he gave her was head chef. And he followed this announcement by, well, since I'm mandating women to be in the kitchen, it's the perfect job for her. I can't believe we didn't see it coming. Just kidding. Donald Trump picked Susie Wiles to be chief of staff. She is the first woman to hold this title ever. Now, I don't know much about her, but I do know that this is a big W and a slap in the face to the left. You know, because he hates women and all, and he doesn't want them working. He wants them enslaved in the house. Weird pick. He
doesn't like women, but he makes the first woman head of chief of staff in the White House. Makes history. What a guy. What a guy. You gotta love him. You gotta love him, right? He does it to slap them in the face too, right? Nancy Pelosi's blaming Elon Musk for her husband's relationship with another man being outed. This is just funny. Come
what
on.
was your reaction when he said that you and Paul were part of the enemy within?
Well, nothing is surprising coming from him, but you have to remember when Paul was attacked, before we even knew if he was dead or alive, what's his name was making a joke of it on the social media. He and his children and the Republican governor of Virginia and the Elon Musk, they were making a joke of it, and they thought that was funny. So there's something sick about all of this. But you know what? We don't agonize, we organize. We just have to win this election. And every day that he says something like this in these last days, when people are really keenly aware and paying attention, works in the favor of Kamala Harris. Those who are breaking from the undecided are breaking overwhelmingly for her.
Didn't work out so well for you there, lady. Didn't work out so well for you. All right. Do we have any? Let's get into an article. Let's get into an article. Break up the videos a little bit. We got a lot more videos to get through, but all right. So Bitcoin whales boost market anticipations. Recent large-scale acquisitions of Bitcoin by major holders, referred to as whales, have sparked significant interest in the cryptocurrency sector. Newly created wallets have amassed around $145 million worth of Bitcoin, reinforcing bullish sentiments within the market. Data from blockchain analytics indicates a market increase in interest from these major stakeholders, signaling a potential rally ahead. Yes, demand for the spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US is surging. On November 7th, these ETFs witnessed an influx exceeding $1 billion, the highest since the beginning of the year. BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF played a pivotal role by attracting a 1.11 billion, reflecting a significant rise in institutional confidence in cryptocurrencies and bolstering the overall digital asset market. Will Bitcoin's price continue to rise? Indicators suggest that Bitcoin's price could appreciate further. Observers note that sustaining a price above $71,489 could trigger an increase to as high as $85,360, approximately $24,000 BTC, valued at around 1.80 billion, have been withdrawn from exchanges, indicating a tightening supply. Supply crunch is real. While forecasts for Bitcoin exceeding $88,000 are promising, potential price volatility remains a concern. Profit taking may influence market behavior as traders react to price movements. Additionally, upcoming inflation reports in the US could shift market dynamics, although endorsements for Bitcoin, including support from figures like Donald Trump, continue to fortify long-term views. The current activity in the market underscores a pivotal role in the whales transactions and institutional engagement, pointing towards a likely upward trajectory for Bitcoin. Observers and participants alike are advised to remain vigilant and adaptive to evolving market landscapes. Stay on your toes, guys. Stay on your toes. Guys, check this out. Pierre Poilievre, okay? If you don't know who Pierre Poilievre is, some of you do because you're Canadian like me. He is running this leftist right here. This is a left-wing media guy trying to trap him. This is basically our version of Donald Trump. Let me put it that way for you, okay? Check this out.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist.
Dude's crunching on an apple while he's being interviewed.
Pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological thing.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, I don't
really believe in that.
Okay. a lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
like who?
I don't know who, but
well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody.
Okay, I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given, you know, not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a, you know, it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not sure. I don't know what your question is.
Then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense. Okay. Common sense for a change. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have any common sense in the current government. You know, the guy prints $600 billion, grows our money supply by 32% in 3 years. That's growing the money 8 times faster than the economy. No wonder we have the worst inflation in 4 decades. I'm going to cap spending, cut waste, so that we can balance the budget and bring down inflation and interest rates. You'll want to be able to pay your mortgage again. You want to be able to afford rent. Then you have to vote for Pierre Poilievre, because I'm the only one with a common sense plan that will bring back the buying power of your paycheck.
That just tears this guy apart, eh? What? Who said that? What page? What are you talking about? Oh, priceless. Just priceless, guys. All right, what do we got? Ondo is Ondo about to be listed on Binance, guys? Binance bought some Ondo hours ago and is now holding more than 500K Ondo. So Binance is buying Ondo. Does that mean they're about to list it? I mean, I don't see why else they would buy it if they weren't listing it, right? Very interesting. Very interesting. Douglas McGregor, quote, I'm heavily invested in cash, gold, and Bitcoin. I own it, I keep it, and I store it. And I think that that's the only hedge right now against high possibility of everything falling apart. We all feel the same way, my friend. And if you have not seen Jay Powell being a pimp, check it out.
Some of the president-elect's advisors have suggested that you should resign. If he asked you to leave, would you go?
No.
Can you follow up on, do you think that legally you're not required to leave?
No.
No. Deal with that. And to make things even more bullish, guys, on Bitcoin, BlackRock bought another 14,546 BTC worth 1.105 billion yesterday. They're loading up like crazy right now, guys. They are loading up like crazy. They see what's coming. All right, what do we got? We really think they're just going to go out another 25 basis points and then reassess into the next year. So 25 more basis points being cut probably in December and then reassessing next year. I think we're going to go significantly more cuts next year than just 1 or 2, but listen up.
Well, I don't think the Fed wanted this to be a surprise at
They
all.
They wanted drama-free.
Absolutely. In fact, I'd wager they wanted to be in the background, and they pretty much achieved. If this was the goal, they pretty much achieved it. And in fact, for December as well, there's a lot of talk now about December. Do they cut? Do they, in fact, pause? Do they cut by 50? I've heard that out there as well. We really think they're just going to go another 25 and then reassess into the next year, because there's a lot of uncertainty around policies right now. We've moved the red sweep scenario, including the Republicans actually also taking the House in addition to the Senate and obviously the presidency. So there's a lot of moving parts there too. And the Fed is probably just going to watch and learn and take what comes their way effectively as a given. They can't really respond to it yet.
Yeah, and Powell was very clear on that point that he doesn't know, right? Your job is to try to figure out what they're going to do, even when they don't know what they're going to do. And we've had several banks coming out and saying, maybe the Fed's only going to cut rates once next year. We've even had some folks float the idea of maybe there would be even an interest rate increase next year, depending on fiscal policy and how that flows through. What do you think?
We think they pause in January and then they continue to cut at a quarterly pace.
And why do they pause, Sonia, at that point?
We really do think that the labor market is going to justify pause in January. The labor market has been a bit stronger than we think the Fed had really anticipated. And in fact, Chair Powell had acknowledged as much, that the labor market has been a bit stronger than they actually feared in September. So we think.
I do agree. I think we'll see a cut in December and then probably a pause for a couple of months after that, 2 or 3 months. I wouldn't be shocked to see a pause after that, going into the new year to kind of see the effects of the 3 cuts that they did in the last quarter of this year.
I think that alone would justify a pause. In addition, though, we think it's important to know that, again, there's a lot of policy uncertainty. The Fed is facing a different environment today than they did in 2016. The tariff configuration is going to look different this time around, right? It's not just about China this time around, especially in the red sweep scenario. We also have a much larger deficit this time around, even though the economy is doing well. Each time that there's a tax cut, the marginal benefit of this tax cut is probably going to be smaller than it would have been otherwise. And then even the extension of the TCJA alone, just to maintain the status quo, not to have a fiscal contraction, is about $5 billion over 10 years? That alone is quite huge. On top of that, you introduce tax cuts and then tariffs, forces that actually move in opposite directions from the economic perspective. Not clear what the end result will be.
And we also, the timeline is, the market is reacting as though, well, the market is a discounting mechanism. But if you say a discount 6 months out, this stuff isn't even happening 6 months out necessarily, right? So all of the things that the market is now looking for from fiscal policy, when is all of that potentially coming?
Well, it's going to get priced in before it actually is implemented, right? Unlikely anything would actually hit the economy until 2026. But what we do have going on in 2025 is the debt ceiling and the potential reconciliation. And that, I think, will be the focus going into next year, in fact.
Were you surprised, Sonia, by, even as the Fed raised rates as quickly as they did, that the economy stayed resilient? And why did it stay resilient?
Interestingly, the term premium went up, right? Rates actually went up. Rates went up also in anticipation of the Trump presidency, but even before, after the 50 basis point cut, rates actually began to rise. So what does this tell us? It could tell us that growth expectations are rising, but also could tell us that uncertainty from the investor perspective is rising as well.
And so as we continue to see the Fed maybe cut another 25 basis points in December, do you expect rates will come down, or will we continue to see an elevated level?
Truly, it could be less about the Fed and more about the deficit, which is why, again, the debt ceiling is going to come more and more into focus.
Which is going to be one of Trump's primary focuses, right? Is obviously things like that. The debt ceiling and rates, right? Kathy Wood giving her 2 cents, guys. I've been waiting to hear from her. She's been pretty quiet lately.
Yes, I think there are a number of reasons. I think that with the new administration, we're going to see a logjam open up here and really let innovation thrive. I think top of mind is regulation. We know that Chairman Gensler, SEC chairman, has been a menace to the world of digital assets and was driving a lot of that innovation into other countries. I think that's going to change. We also think that the FTC commissioner or chairman, Lina Khan, will be going, and that will break the logjam in M&A. I think venture capital has been harmed dramatically in the last few years for lack of liquidity events. Liquidity events, very importantly, involve mergers and acquisitions, and those ground to a halt. Even in mergers or deals where the two companies were not competing with each other, it might have been just tangential. So that's huge. I also think that an environment of tax cutting, offsetting tariff increases. And I don't think the tariff increases are going to be extreme, but I think tax cutting is going to unleash animal spirits. Once again, I'm feeling very much like I did very early in my career in the days of the Reagan administration, when Reagan was facing a huge deficit. And what happened? Even though we saw tax cuts, we grew our way out of it. And maybe I should say because of tax cuts, we grew our way out of it. Deregulation was a big theme back then. And I do believe that President Trump will go back to, if you want to put in a regulation, you have to give me back 2 regulations. And it might even be more extreme than that. In terms of government spending, we have assisting President Trump, Elon Musk, we believe, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, perhaps, an acronym there. And we do think defense spending is going to get a lift. And very importantly, AI is going to be central, and already is, I think, central to beefing up our defenses. We're seeing around the world our artificial intelligence expertise being used.
Right.
And I think that's a big deal. Finally, and I do believe one of the fears people have is inflation because of tariffs. We do not think that tariffs are going to cause inflation, maybe one-off here and there. We think inflation is going to surprise dramatically on the low side of expectations because we think innovation unleashed, so robotics, energy storage, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, multi-omic sequencing is going to cause a huge burst in productivity. We're already seeing productivity surprises. That is going to lower inflation surprisingly. And the other thing is, while President Trump might want a weak dollar, we think the dollar, just like in the early days of the Reagan administration, is going to be very strong because the returns on invested capital in the United States are going to go up relative to those in the rest of the world. And that's going to attract capital and push the dollar up, which is also anti-inflationary. Commodities are priced in dollars. If the dollar's going up, the pressure on commodity prices will be down. So I think one of the biggest surprises brewing is much lower than expected inflation.
There's a lot to dig into there, Kathy. So listen, I'm just going to pick one thing, and then we'll kind of go through and talk about some of these items. When it comes to M&A, and we're talking specifically about your portfolio, if you think there's going to be an uptick in M&A, do you think that companies in your portfolio will be affected either as targets or as buyers? And who do you think might be most likely to be affected within the companies in which you invest?
Well, we have always said that we thought the big risk to our portfolio was that some of our pure plays would be taken out by conglomerates. I think that the biggest category is in what some call the genomics theme, and we're now calling the multi-omics theme. ARKG is the flagship there, and it's been hurt tremendously by a couple of things. One, M&A activity stopped, and in that world, M&A helps with price discovery, especially when companies are early stage, as many of ours are, and are not making money. They depend on liquidity events and M&A to set prices, help give investors an idea of what bigger companies think our companies are worth. Now, I hope a lot of them do not get taken out. We want to keep our pure plays, but we think some of them will. That's probably the area most ripe for takeovers.
100%. Kathy Wood bringing the heat, guys. We got some Myria update for you. Check it out. Myria, this gem is undervalued right now. Team is superior. In-house first game. Play Meta Rush, which is the game on their platform there, guys. Fantastic game. Is on the corner. Totally addictive. And price near to its all-time high or all-time low. Good DCA opportunity. I'm super bullish about this superior L2 gaming infrastructure. This can easily be But this can go easily to a $1 billion market cap. Absolutely, guys. Check this out. Myriad Web3 gaming platform. Guys, I am bullish. I know some people are like bearish because they got delisted from OKX. Not me, man. Not me. I am mega bullish on Myriad. That has not changed for me. In fact, I've been scooping up on this dip. And the CFTC Commissioner Caroline Pham shares the potential next steps for the new administration and the importance of these regulatory policies.
They have spoken, and they want to see people with real-world business experience in Washington. I think that's why you see the markets rallying, because there's a hope that there's going to be people with deeper understanding of the markets, of market fundamentals, of the international trade situation, and what that means for the balance of power between the U.S. and the rest of the world. So I think that's what that means. And I think importantly in the crypto space, what it means is no more regulation by enforcement, that America needs to go back to embracing innovation. And we need to be forward-looking, like we are here in Singapore, and be focused on what can we do to provide regulatory clarity now or today. And that's why I've proposed a U.S. regulatory sandbox in the past that we've talked about. And that's something that we can do now, we can do today. The MAS stood up their regulatory sandbox in 2018. It's time for us to do these pilot programs now. And the GMAC has been putting forward proposals as well to provide that regulatory clarity. Tokenized collateral proposal is coming up on November 21st. And there's already been the first ever GMAC US digital asset taxonomy that will help to bridge that gap so that American can catch up with the regulatory clarity for crypto assets around the world that we're still lacking.
Okay, so there is much debate in the market right now about what President-elect Donald Trump would mean for regulation of crypto assets. Do you think we should be ready for lighter regulation or more regulation? Because as industry gets bigger and bigger, more formalized, I think, to my mind, there needs to be greater regulation and greater regulatory oversight. And you've been supportive of that. You've been very vocal about that. And so how do you see that contrasting with what policy could look like under Trump 2.0?
I think what people want to see is us getting back to the basics and putting in the work to establish clear rules of the road. Right now is an untenable situation because without clear rules of the road, what we have is a gotcha enforcement environment. And that's what we've seen. We've seen regulation by enforcement. So I do think that the first priority is going to be, let's establish a regulatory framework that's sensible over crypto assets, that doesn't unnecessarily impede innovation and is up to, current day with the amazing transformation that we're seeing in market structure, with the potential, again, with tokenization and what that can mean for clearing, for settlement, for 24/7 markets. But at the same time, ensure that we have protections in place for market participants and protections to guard against conflicts of interest. So it's all about right-sizing a clear regulatory framework for crypto assets in the United States.
And what would that look like for you? Give us examples. Like, are you talking about KYC? Are you talking about data storage, data security, know your customer, essentially? Who are the people who are transacting on blockchain? More disclosure norms. Could you spell it out in terms of what regulation is good regulation, what regulation is bad and unproductive regulation?
Sure, of course. So the first thing that we need to do is to establish clear registration regimes. So a lot of the enforcement actions that we've had at the CFTC and at the SEC have been for failure to register as a broker-dealer or failure to register as an exchange. At the CFTC, failure to register as a futures exchange. But the thing is that we've not provided the guidance to the industry on how do you register. So it's all well and good to do. Like I said, it's a gotcha environment. You didn't register, but firms have put in applications with both agencies to try to register. And so I think it's not really fair to, on the one hand, say, come register. On the other hand, not tell anybody how to do that or to approve any applications.
Shots fired at Gary Gensler there. Oh, Gare Bear. Nobody loves you. Somebody give Gare Bear a hug. He's having a rough week, man. He's having a rough week. Ash Crypto, breaking news. China has announced $1.4 trillion program to refinance local government debt. This is a massive liquidity injection. The next 5 to 6 months are going to be huge for Bitcoin and crypto. Can you say, money printer go burr? Here it comes, baby. Here it comes. And finally, what do we got here? Scott Jennings, you still don't understand how you lost. CNN panelists don't say me. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a journalist.
Just to go back to Susie for a second, the fact that he got to this first and the fact that she is going to have, influence over how the rest of this transition unfolds, whether it's picking attorney general or any of these other high-level positions, I think we ought to all look at this as a wise decision, a good decision, and for everybody out there wanting Trump to pivot or change or somehow whatever you want him to do, he just won a mandate from the American people to execute on the program that he laid out in this election. It wasn't particularly close. And I think he ought to put people in place who are going to do it. That's what the people
go
are
after
asking
his
for.
enemies. I mean, that's
not what he ran on.
Yes, he did. It is explicitly
what he ran on.
that is explicitly.
That's not what he ran on.
Look at what he said in the past week. He literally said that he was going to exact vengeance.
You still don't understand how you lost. He ran on
Don't
immigration.
say me. I'm not a Democrat.
He ran on immigration.
I'm a
He ran on inflation.
I'm not here paid
He
to
ran
represent
on-
one of the many things he ran on in addition
He ran on the issues that people care about. He ran on the
Scott,
economy. He ran on
nobody's saying that he didn't run on those things, but he also ran on vengeance.
Yes.
He did also run on going after the people who went after him.
And journalists.
So it's okay for them to go after him, but now we're talking about it being bad if he goes after them. What the hell are we talking about here?
It's a key feature of all of his speeches.
Yes, Scott, he literally said, I am your retribution, the Biden crime family, lock her up. Went after Sessions repeatedly for not doing what he wanted Sessions to do, which was to indict Hillary or whoever he wanted to indict.
You can want his campaign to have been about, tax reform and things like that. That is not what he said on the stump. Time after time after time.
Also
he talked about going after his enemies.
I'm heartened by the fact that the left still cannot
Even
figure
if
this
you
out.
just take
It's a
the
good sign.
January 6th part of
Still
it,
can't figure it out.
he made that a big part of his campaign, that he would, if he were in power, pardon those people. You can't say that that was not on the agenda. It absolutely was.
What was the campaign about? Why did tens
Okay, but do you
of
think that
millions
he's
of
going to
people...
do those other things when it comes to the Department of Justice?
I don't know what he's going to do. I don't
big
talk
part
to
of the
him.
campaign
I just
was being a victim. Like, that was a big part of it, was his victimhood. They're coming for you, but they're going to have to get through me. That was his whole line. That is all about the enemies list. That is all.
I
Yes,
totally
it
I
is.
totally disagree.
The deep state.
That's not
this is the stuff that he talked about on the stump. Unless you just don't want to listen to him. Those are his own words.
I listen
Scott,
plenty.
If you believe that people who violated the Capitol on January 6th committed a crime, which I would hope you would, because they weren't invited in the way they claimed they were, right? They were not there. They didn't go through security the way the rest of us have to go through to get into the Capitol. They were prosecuted. They were convicted. And now they're serving jail time. And he has said repeatedly that they're political prisoners and he is going to spring them, right? What does that tell you about how he's going to weaponize the Justice Department and on whose behalf? On behalf of people who committed crimes for him, not for anybody else.
I mean, I admire your, I don't know if I want to call it naivete or optimism that Trump is going to run on the policies you care about deregulation and tax cuts and whatnot. That's just not what his campaign was about.
Well,
That's not
I
what he
think-
has
I think
indicated.
with all due
do.
respect, I've run more campaigns than you, and I know what campaigns are about, and I know why people walk into voting booths.
Why
You're
people walk
totally
into
wrong.
voting booths and what Trump plans to do when handed the presidency are two different things.
I love how he sits there right to their faces and says, I love how the left still can't figure it out. They still can't figure out why they lost. Absolutely hilarious. All right, let's get back over to the Bitcoin chart. There we go. What's going on? I'm going to leave this little right here so you guys, for the next week or so, in case we come back down and set a lower low, I can sit there and kind of pump my own tires and say, see, I told you we were going to set a lower low, right? Or if we don't, then I'll say, I erased that because I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just messing with you. All right, guys, let's get into the chat, see what everybody's doing. Holmes, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Guys, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe to the channel on your way in and on your way out. It's fantastic to have you here. We'd love to have you help us grow the channel. It would mean a lot to me personally. So make sure you do that. Boomer, what's up, buddy? Jerry's in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Isaac's in the house. Good to see you, man. Buy more Jasmine. Yes, not bad advice at all. VJ, man, how about Swift? It's not moving with BTC hitting all-time high. I've mentioned this a few times, my friend. I said it at the beginning of the stream as well. The small caps are not going to move right now. It's Bitcoin's time to move, not small cap projects. Altcoin season comes after Bitcoin does its thing. So you're going to have to be patient, brother. Detroit, to let its residents pay their taxes in crypto. Yeah, I saw that. That's absolutely amazing. Fantastic. In the second half of next year, isn't it? I think second half of next year. Jetpack in the house. What's up, man? The lady looks like Wendy Williams. Micro Dip. What's up, buddy? Brad with his BitBoy beard. It does look like a BitBoy beard, eh? Shadow Lord, what's up, buddy? Elections have consequences. Does Obama regret saying that now? Yes, I agree. WF Capital doing his thing. You will never get away with calling half of America. Yes, exactly. Right? They do that, and then they say, I don't know why we lost, right? You made people not like you. That's why. Jetpack, XRP doesn't have clarity just because it went through legalities. Bitcoin is the only one. I don't know, man. It does have clarity. It was declared not a security, and that part of the judge's ruling is not up for appeal. So they actually do have legal clarity, 100% legal clarity. William, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Free Pick, what's up, man? It's been a while. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Gareth Soloway said we might retest 36,000. He's a nut. Yeah, I watch a lot of meme videos about him. He's been shorting Bitcoin like all year, and he's been getting liquidated like all year. So I wouldn't go too hard into what he's saying. Badlander, term limits won't happen even though the Republicans will own the House and Senate because the Republican Party is infested with rhinos. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, man. But it's something that does need to happen. Death Bank, what's up, man? Congrats to all who bought the dips. Yes. Dr. Hassan, I'm thinking of joining and becoming a member. Do it, my friend. Do it, brother. I put a link right down below for the Patreon for you. We'd love to have you, man. Funky, what's up, man? Squirt Reynolds, animal spirit feels like a really weird term. Yes. Free Pick, how's the hockey channel coming along? I'm excited about it, man. To be honest with you, I'm just trying to kind of organize things because the thing is that the hockey games are on. I want to live stream basically me just chatting with you guys while the game is on, right? But it's at the same time that I live stream on this channel at 8 o'clock Central. So I might have to, on hockey nights, I might have to push the live stream on this channel from 8 p.m. till about 9:30 p.m., right? If everyone's cool with that, then, you know, so I'm trying to reconcile that right now. What's up, man? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Hot Rod. Master, looking bullish. Yes, MicroStrategy. Absolutely looking bullish. Absolutely. There's actually a couple of stocks, guys, because over on the Patreon, we don't just talk crypto. We talk about all potential investment opportunities to make income, right? And there was a specific stock that I've been talking about over on the Patreon with the members over there about a potential fantastic opportunity to get in early on something. So, guys, you definitely got to get over to the Patreon. You were missing out. And by the way, guys, so you know, I'm actually jumping over to go live on the Patreon. We do live streams over there. I'm going live over on the Patreon in about 20 minutes. So the link is in the chat, guys. It's in the pin, or it's in the description as well. Get over to the Patreon. Join the live chat when I get there in about 20 minutes. And that is going to wrap it for this live stream. I will see you guys over on the Patreon in 20 minutes. Don't be late.